The planet Zerthus was a beautiful world filled with green forests, blue rivers, and floating cities in the sky. Its people, the Zerthans, were peaceful and wise. For hundreds of years they lived in peace, building a great society. But peace never lasts forever. One day a dark force from the edge of the galaxy attacked without warning. Ships made of black metal rained fire from the sky. The cities burned, the rivers turned dark, and the people screamed for help. The Zerthans were not warriors. They had no strong weapons, they only had science and hope. The Zerthan High Council decided to send an SOS, a cry for help, into the galaxy. They used their most powerful signal system to send the message. It was simple. Please help us. We are dying. We have no weapons. We need someone. Anyone. Then they waited. Days passed, weeks. No one answered. The galaxy was quiet. No rescue fleets came. No friendly voices replied. The people began to lose hope. Then, something strange happened. A new signal appeared on the edge of their system. It was not from a known species. It was strong, fast, and cold. The signal repeated the same message over and over. We heard your call. No name. No details. Just that. The Zerthans watched as massive ships entered their star system. They were huge, dark like space itself, and moved in perfect silence. They had no flags, no bright colors, no signs of welcome. Just shadows and metal. The ships stopped, above the capital city, floating like giants in the sky. Fear spread across Zerthus. Was this a new enemy? A trap? The High Council sent a message asking the strangers to identify themselves. No reply. The ships remained still for hours. Then, finally, one of them opened. The people watched from the ground as a door slowly opened at the bottom of the largest ship. A ramp came down, and then they saw them. Tall figures over twice the size of a Zerthan, clad in black armor that looked like it had been forged in the heart of a star. They moved slowly with heavy steps, and their faces were hidden behind helmets that glowed faintly red. No one spoke. The air felt heavy. The Zerthans had never seen creatures like these. They looked like walking machines, like monsters from old stories. But they were human. The Zerthans had heard of humans before. Stories from faraway traders. Tales of a world called Earth. A death world where everything fought to survive. A place of wild storms, deadly animals, and endless war. Most thought it was just a myth, but now the myth was standing on their soil. One of the humans stepped forward. He removed his helmet. His face was calm, his eyes cold. He looked at the crowd of small, scared aliens and said in a deep voice, "We heard your call. We are here." The Zerthan leaders didn't know what to say. Was this rescue or invasion? The human spoke again. "We saw your SOS. We came because you asked. We will help. But there is a cost." That last word made everyone quiet. What cost? What did he mean? Over the next days, the humans began helping. They built defenses around the cities. They repaired the broken energy towers. They gave food and water to the hungry. But they never smiled. They spoke little. They worked like machines. And always their weapons were near. Giant cannons, laser rifles, things the Zerthans had never seen before. The humans shared nothing about their world, their past, or their mission. They simply helped and watched. Some Zerthans began to fear them, not because of what they did, but because of what they could do. One night, a small group of alien traders arrived in secret. They were from a nearby planet and claimed they wanted to talk peace. But when one of them insulted a human guard, the human said nothing. He only looked at the alien with cold eyes. The next morning, that alien trader was gone. No one knew where he went. No one saw anything. Whispers began to spread. The humans were not just helpers. They were giants from a world of war. If they chose to turn, nothing could stop them. But they hadn't turned. Not yet. One young Zerthan child asked his mother, "Are they monsters?" The mother looked at the human standing tall above the city and said, "No, child, they are something else. They are what comes when you scream for help. and the galaxy stays silent. The people of Zerthus had sent out an SOS. Someone had answered. But they didn't know the cost. Not yet. And far above the planet, more human ships were coming. Bigger, stronger, faster. The giants had only just begun to rise. The humans had been on Zerthus for 2 weeks. Their tall figures and black armor had become a normal sight. Every day, they helped repair damaged buildings, cleared debris, and set up energy shields to protect the cities. But even while helping, they looked like warriors waiting for battle. Their eyes were always scanning, their weapons always close. They moved with silent purpose, like machines made for war. The Zerthans watched them with mixed feelings. Some were thankful. Some were afraid. The children whispered stories about the giants from Earth. No one dared to speak to the humans unless needed. Even the Zerthan leaders kept their words short when talking to them. Soon a strange feeling spread through the city, safety mixed with fear. Zerthus was no longer in danger from the invaders, but now it was filled with beings more powerful than anything the people had ever seen. Everyone knew the truth, but no one said it out loud. If the humans wanted to take over, no one could stop them. The Zerthans began researching. They looked into old space records and ancient files. They wanted to know more about Earth. What they found shocked them. Earth was real. It was known as a Class 5 deathworld. That meant it was one of the most dangerous planets ever found. Deadly animals, poisonous plants, superstorms, volcanoes. Earth was a place that tried to kill anything living on it. But the humans had not only survived there, they had grown strong. Reports said humans had strong bodies, fast healing, and strange minds that worked differently. Where other species ran, humans adapted. Where others cried, humans fought. They were survivors in every sense. Zerthan scientists read this and grew silent. These were not just people. These were deathworlders. One day, a group of alien diplomats from another nearby system came to visit. They were curious about the humans and wanted to see the giants for themselves. The Zerthan Council welcomed them politely. A meeting was held in the central tower, and a few human guards stood near the walls, silent as statues. During the meeting, one alien diplomat, proud and foolish, laughed at the humans. He called them brutes and primitive animals from a violent rock. His words echoed in the hall. The humans said nothing. They did not move. They didn't even blink. The meeting ended. The alien diplomats left. That night, something happened. The alien who insulted the humans never returned to his ship. His guards searched, the Zerthan searched, but there was no sign of him. Not even a footprint. It was like he had never been there at all. No one blamed the humans. No one even asked. But deep inside, everyone felt the same chill in their bones. After that, the Zerthans were more careful. The aliens stopped laughing. The galaxy had sent no one to help, but Earth had answered. Now the giants of war walked in their cities. One evening, a Zerthan scientist spoke with a human engineer. The scientist asked, "Why did you come? You don't even know us." The human looked at the stars and said quietly, "We don't ignore a cry for help, but sometimes people forget what they're calling." The scientist didn't understand. Not fully. But he felt something heavy in those words. Later that week, a giant human ship arrived in orbit. It was even bigger than the first ones. It cast a long shadow over the city. The people gathered and looked up. Some were excited. Others felt their hearts beat faster in fear. The humans on the ground looked up too. One of them spoke into a small device and the ship opened slowly. It was clear now, and this was no small rescue team. Earth was sending more forces. Why? No one knew. Maybe they sensed something. Maybe they expected danger. Or maybe this was their way. The Zerthans didn't know if they had called heroes or monsters, but the answer was clear. Earth had heard the SOS, and Earth had sent giants. They were not just here to help. They were here to watch, to wait, and to make sure no one ever hurt the weak again. But some in the galaxy were already planning to use the humans. Others were preparing to test them. They didn't know what kind of fire they were playing with. And the giants were only just beginning to show their true power. Whispers moved like wind through the stars. Across nearby planets and space stations, alien leaders spoke in quiet rooms. The humans have arrived. They are powerful. Too powerful. Some were afraid, others were curious. A few wanted to use them. The galaxy had ignored the SOS from Xerthus. But now that humans had answered, many species began to pay attention. They sent spies, traitors, and hidden messages. All of them wanted to know, who were these giants from Earth, and could they be controlled? On Xerthus, the humans continued their quiet work. They helped repair cities, cleared old battlegrounds, and trained a few brave Xerthan guards. But they shared nothing about their plans. Their faces stayed calm. Their hands never left their weapons. The people of Xerthus were grateful, but uneasy. One night, in a secret meeting far from the main city, a group of alien leaders gathered. They were from different species, traders, warlords, and diplomats. All of them had one goal: to control the humans. One leader, a tall, insect-like being, said, "These Earth creatures are strong, but they are few. If we trick them, we can use them as our army." Others nodded. A plan was made. A week later, a small group of aliens visited Xerthus. They brought gifts and friendly words. They told the Xerthan Council that they wanted to form an alliance with Earth. They offered trade, technology, and promises of peace. But behind their smiles, they had another idea: to use the humans as weapons against their enemies. The Xerthans were unsure. They had seen what the humans could do. They warned the visiting aliens, "These are not tools. These are giants. Be careful." But the visitors only laughed. The humans already knew. Somehow they had heard the secret meetings. They had read the hidden messages. They knew the plan before it was even spoken. Humans had spies too, silent ones. One morning, a human captain stood before the Xerthan High Council. His armor was dark, his face calm. "We know others want to use us," he said. "We are not weapons for hire. We came because you asked for help. We are here to protect the weak, but if someone tries to control us, they will pay." The council stayed silent. No one dared to interrupt. Then the human added 5 words that chilled the room. "Don't make us show cost." That night, something unthinkable happened. A small moon, a cold, uninhabited rock near one of the alien worlds involved in the plan, simply vanished. No explosion, no sound. It was there, and then it wasn't. Gone from the sky. Gone from the maps. The galaxy shook. No one knew how the humans did it. There were no signs of weapons, no warnings. The moon had just disappeared like dust in the wind. Some thought it was magic. Others thought it was a message. The aliens who had tried to trick the humans fell silent. They canceled their plans. They backed away. The message was clear. The humans were watching, and they were not afraid. Back on Xerthus, people began to whisper again, but this time with more respect than fear. The giants had not attacked anyone. They had not taken anything. But they had shown what they could do if pushed. One young Xerthan asked, "What if they turn on us?" An elder replied, "Then nothing will be left." Still, the humans continued their mission. They helped rebuild, they trained soldiers, and they walked among the people. But something had changed. The galaxy now knew what Earth's children were made of. They were not invaders. They were not heroes. They were something else. And now, some species were starting to see a new opportunity. Not to use the humans, but to destroy them. Quietly, in deep space, plans were already forming. Fleets were gathering. They thought they could surprise the giants. They didn't understand that deathworlders never sleep. The humans had already seen the future coming, and they were getting ready. The giants were not just here to help anymore. They were preparing for war. Far away from Xerthus, in a dark part of the galaxy, a secret fleet was being built. Huge alien warships, painted with the colors of 5 different species, gathered in silence. These species had once been enemies, but now they shared one goal: destroy the humans before they became too powerful. They believed the humans were few in number. They believed the humans were just soldiers, not rulers. And they believed one strong attack could break them. They were wrong. The plan was simple: attack a human supply ship traveling alone near a quiet trade route. It was large, but unarmed. A perfect target. If they could destroy it, they thought, they could scare Earth. Maybe even force the humans to leave Zerthus. The 5 fleets launched their attack together. They surrounded the ship and fired all at once. Energy blasts, missiles, gravity bombs. The sky burned with light. The ship was gone in seconds, turned into metal dust. The alien leaders cheered. "We did it," they said. "Now Earth will understand who controls this part of the galaxy." But Earth already knew. 3 days later, strange signals appeared near the homeworlds of the attackers. Giant objects moved through space without warning. They came from nowhere, moving faster than any known ship. No scans worked. No communications were answered. Then one by one the human warships appeared. They were nothing like the first rescue fleet on Zerthus. These were darker, larger, older. Their hulls were marked with battle scars. Some looked like they were grown, not built. And they didn't stop in orbit. They entered atmosphere. Above every capital city of the 5 enemy species, a massive human ship hovered. The skies went black. Power failed. Communication systems died. It was like the stars had disappeared. Then one message played across every screen in every language. "You touched what was ours." Panic followed. No weapons worked. Every system had been taken over. Some planets tried to launch missiles. They didn't even leave the ground. The humans were not just using weapons. They were using something else. Something deeper. It was war through silence, through fear, through control. Back on Zerthus, the people watched the news with wide eyes. The aliens who had once laughed at Earth were now begging for mercy. But the humans didn't destroy the worlds. They didn't fire a single shot. After 12 hours, the ship slowly lifted and vanished into deep space, leaving behind only silence and a warning. The alien leaders who had ordered the attack were never seen again. Some said they were taken. Others said they had vanished on their own, out of shame or fear. But no one knew for sure. The message was clear. Humans did not forgive attacks, and they never forgot who started them. The Zerthans looked at their giant protectors with new eyes. These were not just rescuers. These were not just warriors. They were something more, something the galaxy had never seen before. A Zerthan elder spoke to the High Council. "We asked for help," he said, "and the giants came. But we must now ask, do we live under their shield or their shadow?" The council had no answer. That night in the city square, a small Zerthan girl approached a human soldier. She looked up at him and asked, "Why didn't you destroy them?" The human knelt down. His voice was quiet, almost sad. "Because we were not sent to conquer. We were sent to end the fear. But if they try again..." He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Above them in the black sky, more human ships appeared. 10, 20, 50. A new fleet had arrived. Bigger, stronger, silent as always. The giants had risen once. Now they were staying, and the galaxy was beginning to understand the cost of that SOS was still being paid. The skies of Zerthus were no longer empty. Human warships floated above the planet day and night. They did not move much. They only watched, like silent guards in the sky. Their black shapes made long shadows over the cities. People below looked up with mixed feelings: fear, safety, confusion. Inside the cities, the humans built more structures. Not weapons, not forts, but strange buildings made of dark steel and glowing panels. No one knew what they were for. Some said they were command centers. Others whispered they were prisons for anyone who crossed Earth. The Zerthan leaders asked for answers. The humans gave none. They simply said, "You are under protection." It sounded like a gift, It felt like a warning. More humans arrived. Not just soldiers, engineers, scientists, medics. They walked the streets with heavy steps and cold eyes. They helped fix broken systems. They healed the sick. But still, they never smiled. One day, a Zerthan reporter asked a human doctor, "Why do you all look so serious? Don't you ever laugh?" The doctor answered, "Earth taught us something. If we laugh too long, we forget the pain that made us strong." The reporter didn't ask again. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, many species had started watching Earth more closely. Some were afraid. Others were angry. A few were jealous. They could not understand how one planet, one small, dangerous world, had made beings so powerful, so cold, so impossible to control. A new alliance was forming. This one was different from the failed attack. These leaders were smarter, richer, and more careful. They called it the Silent Ring. Their goal was simple: study the humans, find their weakness, and use it. One Silent Ring spy, a shapeshifter, was sent to Zerthus. He took the form of a Zerthan worker and moved through the cities. For weeks he watched the humans. He followed their patterns. He listened to their quiet voices. And finally, he found something. In a hidden area near the mountains, far from the city, he found a secret human base. It was underground, covered by fake hills and trees. Strange machines moved in and out. One night he snuck closer. What he saw shocked him. Inside the base, there were not just weapons. There were training rooms, large ones, with gravity fields, heat waves, and violent tests. And inside those rooms were children, human children, not many, maybe 20. But each one was being trained like a soldier. The spy returned to his ship and sent a message to the Silent Ring. "They are raising giants." The message spread across the Alliance like wildfire. Now they knew. Earth wasn't just helping. Earth was preparing for something big, something long-term. Zerthus was not just a mission, it was a base. Back on Zerthus, the Zerthan Council met in secret. The fear was growing again. "Are we a free world?" one member asked. "Or are we a colony now?" No one had the answer. That night, a strange storm hit the city. Lightning danced in the sky. The wind howled. And in the middle of the storm, a loud, deep sound echoed through the streets, the sound of a human warning beacon. The people froze, and then, from the sky, 3 small human ships launched at high speed. They shot into orbit and vanished. Hour later, the storm stopped. The next morning, the human commander appeared before the council. "There was an intruder," he said. "He is gone now. Do not ask where." The council didn't, but they understood something new. The humans were not just here to fight. They were here to stay. They were building more than walls and shields. They were building the future. And somewhere, out there, in the cold parts of the galaxy, a hidden alliance had just realized something terrifying. The giants were not finished growing. They were just getting started. The Silent Ring was angry. Their best spy had vanished. Their secret plan was exposed. And worst of all, they now knew the truth. Earth was not just sending soldiers. Earth was planting roots on Zerthus. This was more dangerous than any weapon. The leaders of the Silent Ring met in deep space. They argued. Some wanted to launch another attack. Others warned against it. "They destroyed a moon without a sound," one said. "We cannot fight them the old way." But one leader, the oldest among them, had a different idea. "If we cannot beat them in war," he said, "we will break them from inside." The new plan was quiet and slow. Poison, not bullets. They would use Zerthus itself. The people had grown used to the humans, but not everyone trusted them. Not everyone wanted them there. Some Zerthans whispered about lost freedoms. Some feared Earth's silence more than alien weapons. The Silent Ring sent messages to those people, small, hidden words. "Do you want your world back? They are not your saviors. You are prisoners in your own cities. The words spread. Like fire under the ground, whispers became talk, talk became anger, anger became movement. One night, a small group of Zerthans painted a message on a wall near the human base. Giants go home. It was the first sign of rebellion. The humans didn't respond. They erased the message. No arrests, no speeches, just silence. But their silence was louder than words. Inside their bases, the humans activated new systems. New drones flew through the skies. New sensors appeared across the city. And the soldiers began wearing heavier armor again. The Zerthan Council grew nervous. "What are they preparing for?" one asked. "They're preparing for us," another whispered. Then came the first attack. A hidden bomb exploded near one of the new human buildings. No one was killed. But it was clear someone wanted to start a war. The humans responded with precision. Within an hour, they shut down half the city's systems. Streets went dark. Power died. Communication froze. No human soldier moved. No human ship fired. But everyone felt the weight. After 12 hours, everything returned to normal. The humans fixed the damage, then disappeared from the streets. They had sent a message without speaking. Don't try that again. But the rebels had already gone too far. Some believed they could push Earth back. Some believed they had support from powerful outsiders. And some just wanted chaos. The Silent Ring saw their chance. They sent weapons, fake news, credits. They turned fear into action. Soon a group of Zerthans planned a full strike on a human supply center. But the humans knew. They always knew. Before the rebels reached the target, they were surrounded. Not by guns, but by sound. A deep hum filled the air, it shook the ground. Lights flickered, the sky turned red. Then from the shadows, the giants came. They didn't speak. They didn't shoot. They only stared. One rebel dropped his weapon. Another fell to his knees. There was no fight. Only silence. After that night, the rebellion broke apart. The people were not killed. They were not jailed. They were left free. But the fear stayed. The message was clear. Earth does not crush. Earth watches. Earth waits. And Earth always responds. Back on Earth, leaders watched Zerthus closely. They spoke in hidden rooms. "The galaxy is changing," one general said. "Zerthus was a test, others will follow." Another answered, "Then we must be ready, the giants must grow faster." On Zerthus, a human child trained inside a gravity room. She was no more than 12 years old, but she moved like a warrior. Her teacher, a tall soldier with gray eyes, watched her carefully. "When will I be ready?" the girl asked. The soldier replied, "Soon. The stars will need you." Far across the galaxy, the Silent Ring was not finished. They were quiet, but they were building again. This time, bigger fleets, smarter plans, deadlier weapons. They had learned one thing: fear slows humans, but war reveals them. And the humans? They were not afraid of war. They were born from it. And now the cost of that SOS was about to be paid. In full. The stars were calm, but the silence was heavy. Everyone felt it. On Zerthus, even the children stopped playing in the streets. The sky had grown darker in the past few days. More human ships arrived, bigger and faster than before. Their designs were new, sleek, sharp, and silent. Not even the Zerthan leaders were told why they had come. Then one morning, a sound filled the skies, a low, deep hum that shook windows and hearts. Every screen lit up with a single message: the war has begun. It wasn't Earth that started it, it was the Silent Ring. Their fleets rose from the edge of known space. Thousands of ships, armed with the best weapons the galaxy had ever seen. They sent a message to Earth: leave Zerthus, or be destroyed. Earth did not reply. Instead, the human fleet began to move. They didn't speak. They didn't threaten. They just launched. In space, the two sides met near a broken moon. The stars became full of fire and light. Alien ships opened fire, sending wave after wave of missiles and beams. But the human ships did not fall. They moved like shadows. Too fast, too smart. Some didn't even need pilots. They learned as they fought. One Zerthan scientist watching, the battle whispered, "Their ships and they adapt." For every human ship hit, 2 enemy ships vanished. Some were pulled into black holes created by small gravity bombs. Others were torn apart by invisible blades of sound. The weapons Earth used were strange, unknown to the rest of the galaxy. The war lasted only 6 hours. When it ended, space was quiet again. The silent ring fleet was gone. Back on Zerthus, the people gathered in silence, staring at the sky. Then, the human commander, the same one who first arrived during the SOS, stood in front of the Zerthan High Council. He removed his helmet. His face was older now, tired, but strong. "You asked for help," he said. "We came. We protected. But now you must choose." The council asked, "Choose what?" The human's voice was calm. "Join us, or prepare for a galaxy without us." There was silence, not because of fear, because of truth. The Zerthans had seen what the humans were, what they had become, what they were still becoming. Giants, not in size but in will, in strength, in purpose. They had come from a death world, a place so cruel that only the strong survived, and they had brought that strength to the stars. But they did not conquer. They protected. They punished only those who tried to harm, and now the galaxy had seen the price of their anger, the cost of that SOS. It was not just war, it was change. Some worlds began to follow Earth's path. They opened their borders to humans. They asked to train under them, to learn, to grow strong. Others ran, hiding in the dark corners of space, afraid the giants would come for them next. And Earth watched and waited, because they knew something that others had just begun to learn. The galaxy was dangerous, but now it was also watched, not by gods, not by kings, but by the children of a hard world, children who rose up, became giants, and answered a cry for help with warships and warriors. In the end, the galaxy didn't just fear them, it needed them and the humans. They were ready for whatever came next, because this wasn't the end. This was only the beginning.